hope my screen is visible. Arey. Uh, cool. So, starting with today's content, I just want to know how many of you created your own API key for the Gemini SDK? Okay. Assuming that Tulika Raj wishes didn't did it. Okay. How many of you cloned the Gemini APK, sorry, project and tried running at your emulator or local phone? Cool. Shiva, were you able to uh, make it run and do some prompt thing and able to get the output?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Okay. Now, there were many things that as a prod app we wanted to make changes in order to improve our app or add some more functionality, basic functionality to the app. Okay, so what we're gonna do, uh let me clear this out. Okay, let me first run the project that is provided by the Google. Okay, now let me check. Yeah, we are good. Okay, so if I go here, okay, uh this is the basic history. I hope my screen is visible. Okay, so okay, to others who haven't done it or haven't give it a try, there can be possibilities that you won't be able to understand much of the context, but I will highly appreciate to uh, try to uh, try to understand as many as things as possible. It is simple, straightforward. Once you clone the project and give it a try, you will understand it eventually. Okay, so uh, I was sharing the official app. Okay, now the problem here was that if I do something like, can you help me with the Kotlin queries? Okay, uh, okay, you can see we are having some state here. Okay, which is doing the work at the background. Okay, at the background, and once uh, once the model is able to success it, the API call is able to fetch the query and produce a response. We are able to see something like this. Okay, but if I go back, okay, and come here again, you see the data has been cleared out, right? We are not saving the data locally. Okay, the few things that we understood, though this is a sample app, I'm not saying that Google have made a mistake or any other thing. I'm saying as looking of what how a broad app is built in today's time, and how we can apply all the learnings that we have done so far, we can obviously improve the functionality of this app for the sake of learning. Okay, and make it better for our daily use case. Okay, so consider that you have to make this app scalable, and you have to fix those issues, and basically make it work. Okay, basically add more features and give better user experience to your following user. Okay, so consider as this is your app and you wanted to make it better. Okay, So yesterday I gave you all a assignment to uh, take the zip file that I shared you locally, okay, and try to complete the dependency injection uh, uh, flow and make the app compile. Were we able to do so? Okay, how many of you have looked into the zip file that I have shared? Okay, when I say look, in the sense like not the WhatsApp scene, like have you put it on your laptop and run it over the Android Studio? Okay. Okay, so my question to Vishesh only. Vishesh, were you able to make the app run? If not, you can always react by this emoji. Cool. So you were able to implement the dependency injection framework, like from application level to the local service level. Was the app was running fine without any errors? Okay, okay. So I assume you might be facing few issues. I will highly recommend if you unmute yourself and let me know what you experienced, was what you did, and so that I can understand it better. Hello, Vishesh.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I was running it on my Android Studio, but I did not apply the dependency injection. That's why I was reacting with the emoji of. I was not. I was just run the app in the my Android Studio.
Okay, so it was not running, right?
Yes.
So have you tried making some changes to make it run?
Yes, I was seeing the documentation and I was reading it somehow.
Okay. Do you want me to recap how you can make some changes to make it work?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Okay, so we're gonna have a recap of what uh, what we can do in order to make it work. Okay. uh, cool. So in today's lecture, we're gonna see the solution for yesterday's assignment. Okay, and we're gonna complete the chat app of what we are building. Okay, but this is the first part uh, of our chat app that we wanted to build. Okay, the second part of this chat app we gonna build once we learn the SQL database or the room database. Okay, uh, for now it's important for you all to understand what we are doing. Okay, then on the top of it we gonna build the complete chat app. Okay, so today we gonna implement the core logic of how we can uh, implement the chat app using the Gemini SDK, along with how we can implement the dependency injection. Okay, and handling various responses. Okay, so going back to the implementation of core logic. Okay, uh, बिफोर मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, मैंने कल आपको बताया था देर आर वेरियस वेज हाउ वी डिवाइड अवर ऐप इनटू डिफरेंट लेयर्स. तो कैन एनीबडी टेल मी व्हाट वर दोस layers in which we divide our Android app?
Sir, UI layer, domain layer, and data layer.
Correct, correct. Okay, so we also understood uh, thanks Tulika, that was the right answer. We also understood that if a UI layer, if we divide our app into respective layers, that layer should be only responsible for handling that part of the basically responsible for their specific role, and should not do any other task. Okay, what I mean by that, UI layer should only be responsible for managing the state and showing the UI to the user, right? A data layer should only be responsible for bringing the data, making some iterations over it, and then passing to the UI layer. Okay, so vice versa. Okay, so with that knowledge with us, let's explore the official app. Okay, and see what they are doing. Okay, so, starting from the very beginning, they have a main activity, okay, a single activity with a nav host and a respective routes that is helping to showcase different features in the app. Okay, this is very straightforward. Okay, this URI saver is not important. Let's skip it. Let me make some more space, something like this. Okay, so ha. So we have only a package with features, okay, and uh, we gonna look into the chat directory, okay. So we have a chat screen, and the current screen that you can see that has been inflated here. Now this chat screen is responsible for handling all the user inputs, like a message, uh, showing the message, inflating the new item into the list, and handling this uh, send message action. Okay, and you can always, like, if someone have cloned the project and gone through this project, uh, they might have understood what I'm trying to mention here. But if not, you can see that this chat route have a scaffold with which have the column which have this chat list. Okay, and in the bottom bar we are having this message input. Okay, but all the logic that is been happening, you can see uh, here, yeah, here we have created this chat object. I yesterday explained you about this chat object. Okay, this chat object is coming from the Gemini SDK. Okay, okay, and this takes a parameter which contains the history. Okay, now in the real app, the history will be not of those two lines. Okay, we want to cache the history, so that if we keep on asking questions on the basis of this history, the uh, the SDK or the AI will give us will be able to give us more precise, more contextual response, right? So we wanted to cache the history. Okay, this is one problem that we are not handling it here. Okay, so we're gonna have a look how we can do that. Okay, now you can see that we are handling, we have created states that we are observing in the chat screen. You can see chat UI state by view model, UI state, and collected state. Okay, I am pretty sure that I have not covered it in my course till yet. What we used to do, we used to do chat list is equal to mutable list of uh, uh, let's say, we used to generally do this and used to observe this variable in our screen in order to make the changes. Okay, but ideally in our real products we generally collect states basis of this. Okay, so don't worry about that. I'm gonna teach you very well in depth how we can update or maintain this state. Okay, for time being, give me one or two more classes so that I can introduce you to few terms, then we can always understand this thing better. Okay, so this being said, now in the chat view model, we are storing the state. Okay, uh, then we have some method. Okay, if I minimize this, we generally have only one method like send message, which is doing an API call over the using the Gemini SDK. Okay, API call using the Gemini SDK. Okay, and this API call is going on at the Google server. Okay, now with this thing, what we are doing in the UI layer only, we are doing a operation which is somewhat related to getting the data in our app. Okay, and also we are not caching the data whatever we are getting so far. Okay, you can see once we get a response from the model, we create a new chat message. Okay, and update into the state. Okay, and this state is being then observed over our UI layer here, and then we are able to showcase in the list. Okay, but we don't want to follow this practice. We want to follow the repository pattern that we have learned. Okay, and implement or enhance the implementation of our app. Okay, so my question to you all, have we understood what is the problem in the current sample app that the Google have provided? Hmm. Shiva, go ahead, unmute yourself and let me know what is the problem with the current approach.
सैंपल ऐप में चैट को कैश नहीं कर पा रहा है, ताकि हम लोग हिस्ट्री में जो भी सर्च किए वो दिखाता नहीं है, और बैक करने पे सब खत्म हो जाता है।
Okay, this is one problem, but if I go with the layer wise UI and data layer, what is the problem over here then? If we consider yeah,
In the UI layer itself, the data collection and all is done.
correct, correct. The view model which comes inside the UI layer is responsible for bringing the data and and updating the state. Generally, this should not happen, right? We should be following the repository pattern. We should be somewhat following this repository pattern, right? Where our not I think this is something you are aware of. Okay, okay. So something like this, that your view model should interact with the repository, and the repository will be taking all the data from this. Okay, and talk to the view model. So view model is known to a repository. View model को पता नहीं है कि what is API, what is DB, what is cache. View model only know repository, and repository talks to view model and those three layers. ओके। और व्यू को कुछ नहीं पता, व्यू को पता है कि सिर्फ व्यू मॉडल है। अब व्यू मॉडल रिस्पॉन्सिबल है कि डेटा वो डीबी से लाए, कि एपीआई से लाए, कि कैश से लाए, कि लोकली वेरिएबल से लाए। इट्स अपॉन टोटली ऑन द व्यू मॉडल। व्यू का काम बस है अपना यूआई दिखाना, व्यू मॉडल का काम है स्टेट दिखाना, रिपोजिटरी का काम है डेटा दिखाना। ओके, so I hope this has been clear till here. Cool. So we're gonna update our app based on that. Okay. But before proceeding, we have some few new members. Darshni, question to you. Were you were able to clone the zip file that I provided yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Is is the are you being able to complete the dependency injection flow and make the app work?
I completed that binding the interfaces, but still the activity I have to connect with the activities, sir.
Okay,
Using
okay. So if I show you the solution, will it gonna help you implementing that?
yes, sir.
Cool. So as many of you haven't done it yet, so I'm just gonna show how we can do that. I'm not gonna do the live coding, but rather show you uh, the working directly. Okay, so I take this Gemini app here. Okay, come to here, and I just let me open it again. Meanwhile this is happening, I'm gonna show you something now. Android now. So our motto of this course is that by the end of this session, you at least try to understand majority of the things being shared in this repository. Okay, this is repository been maintained by Google developers, and they generally share how a Android app should be built. Okay, so uh, if you see the tree here of the repository, in the feature inside this, they have respective source directory. Okay, which again have some classes and feature implementation. Okay, similarly things gonna be here. Okay, we have specific core package which do all the implementation, something like data, where we are fetching the data from the repository. Okay, which include lots of repository based on different use cases. We have a common directory. Okay, uh, which do contain some files which is gonna be used commonly in the code base. So my point is, if you understand what I'm trying to explain today, this gonna help you understand this project and eventually help you become a good Android engineer, okay, or developer. Okay, so similarly, I have divided my app into basic layers. But आप देख सकते हो, this is inside a simple app level directly. We gonna increase the complexity step by step. But you can also divide your projects initially in this form as well. Features contain features, DI contains module, data contains the repositories, common things, common composable items being handled over here. Okay, and you can keep your implementation divided into respective directories or packages. Okay, that way you make your app uh, more readable. Okay, uh, cool. So if I continue, come to di package. Yesterday I hmm this gonna be not like this gonna be something like this. Okay, so this is the API key that I've got from the Gemini cloud services. Okay, you can always create your own as well. Don't use this one. Okay, I'm gonna delete this API key by after this class only. Okay, but yesterday we learned how we can create a module which contains all the, just a second, let me run it, because we have provided the new API key. Okay, let it minimize. Okay, now yesterday we built this module. Okay, because we wanted to have a static configuration file and static generative model that we can use throughout our project. Okay, now coming to the uh, binding that I have left for you all to complete. You can see this is how you gonna implement the binding. Okay, you gonna give those annotations, and here you gonna give the implementation of the interface that we have created. Okay, similarly you gonna do for the local module. Okay, and for the repository module. Okay, so if I show you, uh, here is the repository which is responsible for all the view models that gonna connect to this repository and do the certain actions. Okay, so few of the functionalities contains fetching the history, sending a message. Okay, and sending an image prompt. Okay, I'm gonna showcase how we gonna do that, but before, let me showcase how this app is gonna perform. Let me run it again. Okay, let me try with something. Hey, can you help me with the Android Studio uh, features explanation? Okay, so this is the prompt. You can see what happened here. This is deliberately I have done it in order to explain you how things can violate if we don't implement things correctly. You can see, hello, can you help me with few queries? Yes, I can. Then you can see this thing is getting repeated again. Okay, this message is coming again. Then this is the message that is coming, that I've just typed right now in front of you, and this is the response we are getting from the model, right? So basically, what I meant to say, he, uh, I'm though I have provided few modularization to the app, but still the app is not performing as we wanted. Okay, so we're gonna fix it step by step, and I'm gonna give you few assignment on the top of it. Don't worry, I'm gonna help you with the solution as well. But we have to first understood what changes we have done and what new bug it is leading us in the project. Okay, so if I showcase you the uh, local local service. Okay, this local service is only doing the things which is in the database. Okay, or in the cache. Okay, treat it like a service which only deals with the data which is present inside your mobile, inside your device. Okay, no server, nothing else, only the local data. Okay, so this functionality includes loading the history, adding a message, and then fetching the chats. Okay, if I showcase you the implementation, I have created a temporary database, okay, which I am connecting to my local service. Okay, if I share what we have done till here through a diagram, you can understand I have created this DB which is connecting to the repository. Okay, till now I have shown you this part. Okay, and I have created the inbuilt DB. मतलब मैंने कोई library, I haven't used any library or anything. I have created a DB of my own, which is nothing but just a class. Okay, which contain a variable uh, which have some predefined values. Okay, I have some method that we are adding the message, fetching the history, and emitting the chats. Okay, what is this flow, what is this suspend, don't worry about that, try to understand what we are doing. Okay, so we have created a local service implementation which takes this interface, then we get this override, then we are implementing it to based on our requirement. Okay, now in the upcoming future, in the next two classes I'm gonna showcase you how to create a, uh, basically I will gonna help you learn about SQL database. Okay, and how to implement it in Android using the room library. Okay, so room is the library that we're gonna use to implement SQL database in our app, so that what I have done here इतना हमें करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Okay, the room library uh, by default gives us some features that whenever I make any changes, it start reflecting in the app automatically. Okay, so just to give you a perspective, let me open this app again. Okay, okay, I have given this prompt. You can see this message has been coming from the database that I have created. You can see, hello, can you help me with few queries? Yes. You can see these two sentences being inflated inside this app as a history. Okay, I will showcase you, but try to understand that this is coming from the database. Okay, one is of type user participant, other is of type model. You can see the same being reflecting over here. Okay, now I have added a new query and give it to the model. Okay, okay, now you can see these two things is been coming again. Okay, and after that I am adding my query and giving the output here. Okay, uh, so let's see how it is being implemented. Okay, I'm loading the history. Okay, adding any message that is coming new, जैसे can you help me with this room db, a query has been added in the list in the database, and then fetching the chat again. Okay, now this was the responsibility for the local service. Let's see the implementation of network service. Okay, now instead of a database, it is taking a generative model. Okay, this generative model is nothing but Google Cloud servers. Okay, so whatever operation I do, for example, doing this send message operation. Okay, this send message operation is coming from the SDK only. It makes an API call and gives us the response in the return type. Okay, so what I did, uh, huh, in the network, what I'm saying, use this model, start the conversation, taking this history content, and then whenever I call this send message, send this message with the new content. Okay, so let's see the implementation. If I go here, okay, now this is repository. Now repository is doing what? It is using the DB as well and the Gemini HDK as well. Okay, using this both. Okay, now what I'm doing, in the send message method, first I'm loading the history. Okay, loading the history from the local service, because history is saved in the local memory. Okay, either the DB or cache memory. Okay, so first I'm loading the history. Okay, then I'm adding a message again in the local service. Okay, and then I'm making an API call. Okay, to the network service. This send message is internally using what? The send message is internally using the generative model. Okay, which is the Gemini model. Okay, and then whenever I get a response, I am, before showing it to the UI, once I get the response, I'm caching the response. Okay, मैं उसको अपने डेटाबेस में सेव कर ले रहा हूँ. Okay, so I'm using local service dot add message that is been saved in the locally now. Okay, if any error come, then I make a, I add a message which says that the failed operation has been happened and the participant is of type error. Okay, so what we are doing in the repository, I'm using the local service and the network service together in order to save my message locally, and then using the data from the local database only to keep the data consistent across the app, even if the app get kills or app get the state get changed. Okay, so with this explanation, let me know where you were be able to understand what I'm trying to convey here. Anybody would like to volunteer and okay, Shiva left. Anyone, Darshini, Vishesh, Tulika, if you want to volunteer and just explain me what you have understood till now. It can be wrong, it can be inaccurate, it can be correct. Okay, so please let me know till now what you have understood. Okay, let me pick a name. Darshini, can you please unmute yourself for a couple of minutes? I will ask you a few questions, then try to answer. Okay,
We are actually caching the histories and then using the fetch history, we are showing it into the UI layer.
Correct, correct. That's the exact answer that I was looking for. Okay, I am convinced that Darshan is clear. Tulika, are we clear what we are doing till here?
Actually, no, sir, not yet understood.
Okay, let me explain it to you again in a short summary. Okay, इनिशियली जो हमारा ऐप था, जो गूगल सैंपल के द्वारा मिला गया था, उसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या थी कि हम हर काम व्यू मॉडल में कर रहे थे। करेक्ट, इतना समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
सो अब अगर हमें ऐसा फीचर इम्प्लीमेंट करना है विच गोना टेक द डेटा, लेट्स से हम अब हमें जेमिनी एचडीके इस्तेमाल नहीं करना, अब हमें इस्तेमाल करना है चैट ओपन एआई वाला एचडीके, राइट? तो अगर मैं सिर्फ मेरे पास व्यू मॉडल रहता, ओके, तो मेरे को यहाँ यहाँ पे हर जगह सारे मेथड्स चेंज करने पड़ते, हो सकता था कि पूरा चैट व्यू मॉडल का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन चेंज हो जाता, राइट? अगर मैं सर्विस चेंज कर देता तो व्यू मॉडल का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन चेंज हो जाता। करेक्ट, इतना समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
कूल। नाउ हमने ये आर्किटेक्चर डिजाइन किया, ओके, विच इज वन ऑफ द वन रिकमेंडेड बाय गूगल। वो क्या बोलता है कि आपका जो भी डेटा से रिलेटेड काम है आप वो करो रिपोजिटरी में, और रिपोजिटरी से रिक्वेस्ट करो अपना डेटा, वहाँ से इनपुट लो, वहाँ से आउटपुट लो। ये चीज़ हमें समझ में आई कि ये हम क्यों कर रहे हैं। कूल, क्योंकि इन फ्यूचर लेट से अगर एपीआई चेंज हो गई, लेट से इंस्टेड ऑफ जेमिनी एचडीके वी आर यूजिंग द ओपन एआई एचडीके, ओके, तो हमें बस चेंज यहाँ पे करना पड़ेगा, हमें यहाँ पे और यहाँ पे कोई चेंज करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। ओके, ये समझ में आया टू एवरीवन बेसिकली कि इस आर्किटेक्चर से फ़ायदा क्या है? कूल। ओके, सो फॉलोइंग द सेम पैटर्न हमने क्या किया, हमने रिस्पेक्टिव एक क्लास बनाई विच इज़ हैंडलिंग द डीबी ऑपरेशन, हमने रिस्पेक्टिवली एक क्लास बनाई विच इज़ डूइंग द जेमिनी ऑपरेशन। ये समझ में आया? नेटवर्क एंड लोकल सर्विस समझ में आई क्या क्या है? कूल। अब मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, मैं रिपोजिटरी में, ओके, दिस इज माय ऐप, इन द रिपोजिटरी ये मेरी दोनों डिपेंडेंसी है। अब मेरी मर्जी है कि मैं इन दोनों को सेपरेट यूज करूं कि इन दोनों को साथ में यूज करूं। सो ये वाला पॉइंट समझ में आया तुलिका कि अगर एक क्लास में मेरे पास दो डिपेंडेंसी है तो मैं इन दोनों को साथ में यूज कर सकता हूँ। ये समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
कूल। सो हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम क्या चाहते हैं कि हमारा ऐप कोई भी डेटा फेच करे वो डीबी से होता हुआ आए। ओके, एपीआई से जो हमें रिस्पॉन्स मिले उसको हम डीबी में डालें और डीबी से हम चीज़ें फेच करके व्यू में दिखाएं। क्यों? क्योंकि अगर मैं ऐप को किल भी कर दूं और फिर से लॉन्च करूं तो डेटा जो भी आएगा वो किससे आएगा? डीबी से आएगा, क्योंकि डीबी में तो इंटरनेट की ज़रूरत नहीं है, राइट? हम लोकली सेव कर रहे हैं। तो माई सोर्स ऑफ ट्रूथ विल बी माई डीबी। ओके, अब डीबी में मैं डेटा को पॉपुलेट कब करूँगा? डीबी में मैं डेटा पॉपुलेट कब तब करूँगा जब मेरे पास नेटवर्क से रिस्पॉन्स आ जाएगा, राइट? नेटवर्क से मेरे पास रिस्पॉन्स आ गया तो मैं चेक कर रहा हूँ कि रिस्पॉन्स का टेक्स्ट में जो डेटा है वो नल तो नहीं है। नल नहीं है तो मैं लोकल सर्विस का इस्तेमाल करके उस मैसेज को अपने डीबी में ऐड कर दे रहा हूँ, राइट? ये इतना समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Now let's forget the rest. Let's go to व्यू मॉडल, लेट मी क्लियर दोस आउट। ओके, मैं व्यू मॉडल समझाऊंगा तो थोड़ा सा इसमें और क्लैरिटी आएगी। फीचर टेक्स्ट चैट व्यू मॉडल। Okay, now you can see this view model is talking only to the repository. Okay, ये चीज समझ में आई everyone? The view model is only talking to the repository, ना उसको API से लेना देना है, ना उसको DB से लेना देना है। Okay, till now we clear? Cool. Now this view model, which is responsible for maintaining a state, okay, and maintaining states and showing into the UI, okay, अब हम क्या कर रहे हैं, जैसी व्यू मॉडल वो हो जा रहा है, जैसे व्यू मॉडल का ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट हो जा रहा है, तो हम एक init ब्लॉक कॉल कर रहे हैं, विच इज डूइंग व्हाट, कलेक्टिंग द लेटेस्ट मैसेजेस जो हमारे डीबी में ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट है। ओके, ये चीज समझ में आई कि जैसे व्यू मॉडल बना, इनिट ब्लॉक हम पढ़े थे कि कॉटलिन में एक प्राइमरी कंस्ट्रक्टर होते हैं, सेकेंडरी कंस्ट्रक्टर होते हैं और एक इनिट ब्लॉक होता है। इनिट ब्लॉक समझ में आया, राइट? इनिट, अच्छा, सॉरी, दर्शनी, आर यू क्लियर विथ हिंदी? डू यू अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी वेल? Darshini, do you understand Hindi? Like, is it fine if I explain the rest of the implementation in Hindi?
Yes, sir, I can understand Hindi.
Okay. Thanks, Darshini. Uh, so, uh, huh. So in the init block, what I'm doing, whenever this view model object is being created here, okay, what I'm doing, I'm fetching the history that has been uh, till till has been entered by the user. Okay, let's see the implementation. Let's forget about this scope, that launch, that collect latest, इसको अभी आप भूल जाओ। Just try to focus on this method calling in the repository. I am calling this fetch all history method. Okay, if I go here, okay, you can see व्यू मॉडल को कोई भी अता पता नहीं है कि फैच ऑल हिस्ट्री के अंदर का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन क्या है। उसको बस इतना पता है कि फैच ऑल हिस्ट्री एक मेथड है जो मुझे चैट मैसेजेस का लिस्ट लाके दे देगा, उसको बस इतना पता है। ओके, सो अगर मैं इसके इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में जाऊं, इसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन किसको पता है? इसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन रिपोजिटरी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन क्लास को पता है। ओके, विच इज इंटरनली टेकिंग दिस टू डिपेंडेंसी। अगर मैं फैच ऑल हिस्ट्री में जाऊं तो आप देख सकते हो दिस इज नॉट डूइंग एनीथिंग विद द नेटवर्क सर्विस, इट इज जस्ट डूइंग ऑपरेशंस ऑन द लोकल सर्विस। ओके, सो जैसी व्यू मॉडल बना, जैसी ये व्यू इन्फ्लेट हुआ, मैंने हिस्ट्री का मेथड कॉल किया, हिस्ट्री को फेच किया और अपने स्टेट को अपडेट कर दिया। स्टेट को अपडेट कर दिया तो मेरा ये हिस्ट्री वाला मेथड काम करने लग गया। टिल नाउ आर वी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट वी आर डूइंग? तुलिका, cool. Okay, now what we have done next, that जब भी मैं सेंड मैसेज करूंगा, ओके, मैंने जैसे सेंड मैसेज किया, इन केस मैंने ये वाला प्रॉम्प्ट दिया था, जैसे ही सेंड मैसेज किया, मैंने कलेक्ट लेटेस्ट मैसेज को फिर से कॉल किया। जब मैंने इसको फिर से कॉल किया तो मेरे स्टेट में जो पुरानी हिस्ट्री थी वो भी फिर से ऐड हो गई, वो भी फिर से ऐड हो गई। तो अब आपको समझ में आया कि ये हेलो हेलो 2 बार क्यों आ रहा है? ये आपको समझ में आया सभी को कि हमारी गलती कहाँ हुई? कूल। ओके, सो बिकॉज माई इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, मैंने अभी अपने लॉजिक को डिवाइड कर लिया है। टिल नाउ आई हैव डिवाइडेड माई responsibility of each class to different classes and using them together, but my way of writing the code is still not very accurate. Okay, I have to fix it. Okay, so but that is not the main part. Main part is to understand how we have divided our logic. Okay, agar if I show, let me minimize this is my implementation. Okay, अभी बस आप uh, बस इस मैसेज को ध्यान देना. ओके, इस मैसेज को ध्यान देना एंड सी implementation of this method, send method. ओके, आप देख सकते हो दिस इज गेटिंग वेरी प्रिटी लार्ज, राइट. एक एक चीज को इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए हमारा मेथड कितना लंबा होते जा रहा है, राइट. नाउ सी दिस इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. अगर आपको कोड पढ़ना हुआ बहुत बड़े कोड बेस का, विल यू प्रीफर दिस थिंग और विल यू प्रीफर दिस थिंग, this many thing like this thing. This you can, if you vote for one, type 1 for this approach, or if you want to have this implementation, type 2. Come on, come on. Cool. Now I'm gonna ask Tulika. Tulika, आपने सेकेंड ऑपरेशन क्यों चूज किया?
Sir, because it is short and easy to understand.
Correct. Now can you give it more elaborate way, like can you please unmute yourself for a second? So हमने इस अप्रोच से ना ही अपना कोड को रीडेबल बनाया, हमने अपने कोड को स्केलेबल भी बनाया. करेक्ट.
Yes, sir.
स्केलेबल इन द सेंस, मेरा व्यू मॉडल इज ओनली रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर calling the method in the repository and observing the data that is coming from repository to update the state, right?
Yes, sir.
एज अ डेवलपर, अगर आपको मान लो कल मैं आपको हायर करता हूँ. ओके, लेट्स टेक अ सिनेरियो. आई हैव हायर्ड यू एंड आई हैव गिवन यू अ यूआई टास्क, राइट. अ यूआई टास्क जिसमें आपको यहाँ पे लेट्स से यहाँ पे टाइम दिखाना है. ओके, लेट्स अज्यूम. ओके, एंड टिल रिपोजिटरी मैंने आपको सब मेथड बना के दे दिया है. So will it be very easy for you to just pick up the method from the repository, observe the response and update the UI state in order to showcase in the UI? क्या आपके लिए काम आसान हो जाएगा?
Yes, sir.
Yes. But अगर if we don't do in the repository pattern, what will be the uh, drawback of it? अगर हम रिपोजिटरी यहाँ यूज नहीं करते हैं तो यहाँ से प्रॉब्लम क्या होगा?
So we would have to read the complete code given, like.
Yes. So there are many problems. First, the implementation will get bigger, right? And if there will be any bug, it will be very hard to debug, right? Because the implementation is getting bigger, right? Now, with this pattern, यू आर अवेयर कि आपको जो स्क्रीन में दिखाना है वो डेटा यहाँ से मिल रहा है. अब आपको फर्क नहीं पड़ता इसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन क्या है, कैसा है. आपको पता है कि यहाँ से करेक्ट डेटा आ रहा है. ओके, नाउ यू कैन ओनली फोकस ऑन योर टास्क ऑफ बिल्डिंग अ यूआई यूजिंग द व्यू मॉडल, राइट. आई होप you all understood what we doing here.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Darshini, Vishesh, Shiva. Cool. Now, Onkar have joined the session after a long break. Onkar, can you please unmute yourself and let me know कि आपको overview समझ में आया what we are doing here? Hello, Onkar. If
Hello, sir.
yeah, go ahead.
I was out of city, sir. That's why I not joined sessions.
नो प्रॉब्लम, बट आज आपको आज का सेशन समझ में आया व्हाट वी आर डूइंग?
सर थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ में आया, देख लूंगा मैं सर यूट्यूब पे और कर लूंगा प्रैक्टिस.
Definitely you can, but that was not my question. My question
ओके.
was like, if you see the
आज
code,
भी मैं लेट ज्वाइन हुआ था सर थोड़ा.
okay,
हम्म.
no problem. Okay. So questions to the people who have been regularly joining. I hope Darshini, Tulika, Vishesh, and Shiva, we are good till here, right? Cool. Now we gonna see how we have implemented this feature so far. हम line by line जाते हैं and see what we have done. Okay. So let me start from the view layer. Okay. मैं chat या अब आप देख सकते हो, this is definitely not the class I wanted you all to see. uh, this is the text prompt class that I wanted you all to see. Okay, so you can see the implementation, okay, or the whole UI that you see here, okay, is been done in, let's say, uh, uh, in, let's say, like 20-30 lines. Okay, आपने 20 से 30 लाइंस में इतना सारा कोड, आपने इतना सारा फीचर्स आपने इम्प्लीमेंट कर लिया, राइट? दिस इज one of the prime example of why dividing your code into small chunks help you to build scalable and readable apps. Okay, now if you if we evaluate it from the top to bottom level, what we have done, we have created a composable, okay, which initialize the view model. Let me again ask people, were you will be able to understand ये hilt view model क्या कर रहा है? Like हमने dagger वाले में सीखा था hilt view model, or you want me to explain a little more about it? Okay, okay, thank you Tulika for confirmation. If you are not able to get any concept, please let me know, because uh, I will love to repeat stuff again and again, just so that you all understand the things that we're going uh, under the hood. Okay. Question to everyone: are you aware of this view model class? Cool. So this view model class we are getting from a dependency that we have added. Okay. Now, are you aware about this inject constructor thing that we have done here? Are you all aware about inject constructor? Cool. Okay. I hope you are, if you are aware about this, you are aware about this at the rate hilt view model. Okay. So if I hover over it, you can see this is coming from Dagger Hilt Android Lifecycle package. Okay. हम जब डैगर हिल को डिपेंडेंसी को ऐड करते हैं ग्रेटल में, तो हमें ये चीज मिलती है. ओके, एंड व्हेन वी एनोटेट अ व्यू मॉडल, ओके, ऐसा वैसा एरा गैरा कोई व्यू मॉडल नहीं, जो एंड्रॉयड के व्यू मॉडल को एक्सटेंड करता है, उसी के ऊपर आप ये एनोटेशन लगा सकते हो. ओके, जब ये और ये प्रोवाइडेड है ना, ये तीन चीजें प्रोवाइडेड है, तो आपको अगर किसी भी कंपोजेबल में व्यू मॉडल देना हो, ओके, किसी भी यूआई लेयर में आपको व्यू मॉडल देना हो, तो आप उसके पैरामीटर में फंक्शन के बेसिकली आर्ग्यूमेंट में आप ऐसे डिफाइन करके व्यू मॉडल को इनिशियलाइज कर सकते हो। ओके, सो आपको जनरली ऐसे करने की जरूरत नहीं है। ऑफ टाइप टेक्स्ट, ओके, अगर आप ऐसे करोगे तो आपको रिपोजिटरी का मेथड बनाना पड़ेगा। वेल रिपोजिटरी, ओके, ऑफ टाइप रिपोजिटरी, ओके, रिपोजिटरी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, ठीक है। फिर आपको रिपोजिटरी बनाना है तो आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, लोकल सर्विस बनाना पड़ेगा। लोकल सर्विस ऑफ टाइप लोकल सर्विस विच विल बी ऑफ टाइप लोकल सर्विस इम्प्लीमेंटेशन। अब लोकल सर्विस इम्प्लीमेंटेशन बनाना है तो आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, डेटाबेस बनाना पड़ेगा। डेटाबेस ऑफ टाइप टेम्प डेटाबेस इज इक्वल टू टेम्प डेटाबेस। फिर मैं इसको दूंगा डेटाबेस, ओके। अभी मैंने लोकल सर्विस में लोकल सर्विस दिया, ओके। स्टिल मेरे को नेटवर्क सर्विस देना बचा है। सो वेल नेटवर्क सर्विस सर्विस ऑफ टाइप, अच्छा, इट वाज आई नेटवर्क सर्विस इज इक्वल टू नेटवर्क सर्विस इम्प्लीमेंटेशन। अब यहाँ पे मेरे को मॉडल लेना पड़ेगा, ओके। वेल जनरेटिव मॉडल ऑफ टाइप जनरेटिव मॉडल, ओके। अब इसकी अलग रिक्वायरमेंट रहेगी। तो आप देख सकते हो, जस्ट टू क्रिएट अ व्यू मॉडल, अगर आपको बस इतना सा व्यू मॉडल बनाना है तो आपको इतनी सारी जो डिपेंडेंसी इसके ऊपर है आपको वो भी देनी पड़ेगी। एंड डेफिनेटली यू डोंट वांट टू डू इट फॉर ईच एंड एवरी कंपोजेबल। अगर ये व्यू मॉडल आप दूसरी जगह इस्तेमाल करते हो तो आप नहीं चाहोगे कि ये चीजें बार बार करो, राइट। सो इन ऑर्डर टू डू दिस मैनेजमेंट we use dagger hill, okay. And because this view model class is a special class and needs some manual implementation, so uh, understanding the problem of developer, what Google have done, Google बोलता है कि अगर आपने व्यू मॉडल बनाया हुआ है विच इज गोइंग यूजिंग दिस, जस्ट एनोटेट इट विद द हिल्ट व्यू मॉडल, और आप इसको हिल्ट व्यू मॉडल से इनिशियलाइज कर दोगे तो आपका ये क्लास बन जाएगा। ये क्लास बन जाएगा तो आप इसके मेथड्स को इस्तेमाल इजीली कर सकते हो, ओके। सो नाउ यू आर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट वी आर डूइंग हियर। आई थिंक अब ब्रॉड पिक्चर मिल गई होगी कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं। या दर्शनी गो अहेड।
Instead of using help view model, we can use delegate function by view models.
Yes, yes. Let me take this one. You mean by, well, view model of type this,
Text from view model by view models.
like this, right?
Yes, sir. By view models.
By view model, like this, right? Am I writing it correctly, Darshini?
View models. Yes.
Let me see. View models. I'm not getting any method regarding that. Can we not do something like this? I'm still able to
Yes, sir.
write, but the problem with this, is that uh, if we wanted to inject it, basically if we wanted to inject all those dependency that is coming, that we are using in this view model, using this approach, I am not 100% sure, but I think if you do like this and not like this, it will raise to a problem. The एंड्रॉयड सिस्टम विल से डेट कि उसको पता नहीं है कि एंड्रॉयड व्यू मॉडल का ऑब्जेक्ट कैसे बनाना है, क्योंकि आपने उसको एक डिपेंडेंसी दे चुकी है. Okay, so when we do this hilt view model, what it does, it internally knows कि व्यू मॉडल इज यूजिंग द repository, और डेवलपर ने हमें बता दिया है कि रिपोजिटरी कैसे बनाना है. So internally it gonna use that. But if these things work, I need to cross check. If work, then you can obviously use this one. Else if not, then we already have this handy method over there. Okay. But in my knowledge, अगर दर्शनी आपका व्यू मॉडल कुछ ऐसा दिखता है, let me create one more for you. uh, Temporary view model. Okay. uh, what was that class? Temporary view model which extend the view model, okay, by Android. And now because this view model generally doesn't contain any dependency or have any annotations, then that way you can use by using this delegation. Okay. But again, I'm, till now I've been using this. If this is something new have been come, I'm not aware. I'm gonna have a look and like revert back in the group. Okay. But thanks Darshini for pointing out this. I haven't tried by this way. uh, we can give it a try and see. Okay. I hope I was able to bring some sense why we are doing with hilt view model. Cool. Okay. Now yeah, so whenever we make a send message call, this is one of the component. Okay. I'm calling this send message. Okay. uh, I am then internally calling the repository send message method. Okay. Okay, which is the implementation in the repository, which uh, is making this send message call in the Gemini SDK. Okay, in the Gemini SDK, this one. Okay, we are getting some response. Okay, and then we are checking if the response contains the text, then adding the message to the local service, and then returning out. Okay. So from here we get some data. Okay. In the local service. Okay. Now in the view model, what I'm doing, when I do this collect latest, I'm explicitly calling the history method. Okay, which is corresponding to the local service only, and then I am able to fetch the uh, output that I wanted to showcase in my UI. Okay, so if I showcase you in a diagram, what I'm doing, my view message box, this is my message box. Okay, when I hit the text that send message, I'm telling my view model. Okay, I'm telling my view model to call the method from the repository. Okay, Now repository is corresponding to the database, okay, and the API. So in the API I'm showing in the form of a cloud, okay, API. This is my DB, okay. So in this repository, what I'm doing, because I wanted to cache the thing, मैं repository से पहले मैं API से डेटा ले रहा हूँ, okay, in the first scenario, okay. जब मेरे पास डेटा आ जा रहा है, in the second scenario I am putting in the DB, ठीक है। जब ये चीज कंप्लीट हो जा रही है, तो आई एम मेकिंग अ सेकंड रिक्वेस्ट टू द रिपोजिटरी टू फेच द हिस्ट्री, ओके, फेच द हिस्ट्री। नाउ वी आर अवेयर कि डीबी में वैल्यू एग्जिस्ट करती है, सो आई एम गोना एक्सट्रैक्ट द, इसको अपन दूसरे कलर से देखते हैं। आई एम गोना एक्सट्रैक्ट द डेटा इन द थर्ड ऑपरेशन, ओके। नाउ डेटा इज बीइंग कम इन द व्यू मॉडल, okay. In the fourth part, I'm gonna process it and show in the UI as the fifth part, okay. So आपको क्या फर्स्ट सेकेंड ऑपरेशन समझ में आया कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं? If anyone
Yes.
wants to, Tulika, you want to explain the whole scenario or what we are doing? अच्छा, let me create this thing. This is view, okay. ये मैंने A से मार्क कर दिया, ओके। यहाँ से यहाँ गया, यहाँ से यहाँ गया, यहाँ से यहाँ गया सी में, सी से वापस इधर आया इन द फॉर्म ऑफ डी, फिर यहाँ से यहाँ गया ई, ओके। फिर यहाँ से कुछ नहीं हुआ, फिर इसने फिर से रिक्वेस्ट किया हिस्ट्री फेच करने के लिए। हिस्ट्री फेच करने के लिए डीबी से हमने ये उठाया और यहाँ से फिर यहाँ दिखाया, ओके। फिर यहाँ से यहाँ दिखाया। सो Tulika, if I ask you, will you be able to explain in just 5 to 6 lines what we have did? From view to DB and DB to view again. Anybody else want to share what you have understood till now? Let me ask Vishesh. Vishesh, will you want to explain the scenario? That's pretty sad. Shiva, you want to explain the scenario?
No, sir, I have an issue with the internet. Uh,
No problem. Darshini, you want to share the scenario?
Based on the user preference, the view model will contact the repository, and the repository will make a call to API, and it will fetch the information from the DB, and it will give to the view model, and then it will be showed in viewed in the UI part.
Correct, correct. That's exactly with some alteration. Once the data is been coming from the API, we are updating the DB. Okay,
Yes,
and
sir.
as we soon as we get that, okay, the API has been successfully made in the view model, then we are requesting for the history again, and then we are showing fetching the data that was freshly put in the DB to the UI again. Okay.
Like fetching history.
Yes, yes, correct, correct. So I hope you all understood what Darshani said and able to make sense of what we are doing here. Okay, I'm gonna provide you. Yeah, Shiva, go ahead.
सर हिस्ट्री को जब हम फेच करवा रहे हैं तो ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि लास्ट इंडेक्स से फेच कराएं, तो उससे क्या होगा कि मैसेज जो रिपीट हो रहा है शायद वो ना हो, सिर्फ लास्ट मैसेज ही है जो हम लोग
Correct.
सेंड कर।
Correct. You meant to say that instead of fetching all the things, we're gonna fetch only the things that has been updated from the last index, right?
यस सर।
Yes, yes. That's exactly what we are gonna do. Okay, but uh, I'm gonna provide you all with this implementation. I'm gonna leave some to dos that you can do in order to make some changes. Okay, and try to make it work. Okay, try to uh, try to remove this bug that this message coming twice. Okay, this is the first assignment. And if you understand the whole process, this is for Darshani and others. If you have understood the whole process, try to create the similar UI for the chat application as well using the image prompt. Okay, अब इसका कोड आपको कहाँ मिलेगा? इसका कोड आपको मिलेगा जनरेटिव एआई वाले सैंपल में। अगर मैं आपको इसका कोड दिखाऊं, इट इज वेरी सिंपल। मल्टी मॉडल। ओके, इंस्टेड ऑफ यूजिंग द सेंड मैसेज, इन लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? दे आर यूजिंग दिस जनरेट कंटेंट स्ट्रीम मेथड। ओके, जिसके अंदर हम लोग बिट मैप दे रहे हैं एंड इट इज गिविंग अस सम रिस्पॉन्स। ओके, so I'm gonna add some you uh, to do list. Okay, to do in the sense like something like this: handle bitmaps operations as well. Okay, so मैं आपको टू डू में ऐसा लिख के दे दूंगा कि अन व्हाट स्टेप यू कैन फॉलो। मैं उनको ऐसे नाम देते जाऊंगा कि 1 यहाँ, 2 यहाँ, 3 वहाँ। ओके, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन द सेकेंड, I'm gonna give the second to do here. Okay, handle bitmap operation as well. Okay, with new method. Okay, okay, ऐसे मैं आपको टू डू बना के दे दूंगा और आप इसको कैसे ट्रैक कर सकते हो? लोकेट I think, or basically what you can do shift command F. Okay, search for to do. ओके, एंड थ्रू आउट द प्रोजेक्ट आपको टू डूज मिल जाएंगे। तो आपको 1 में जाना है या इम्प्लीमेंटेशन करना है, ठीक है, फिर 2 में जाना है, यू विल सर्च फॉर टू डू, 2 में जाना है। ओके, एंड डू द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन समथिंग लाइक वाइज। ओके, so the assignment is to remove this bug. Okay, or at least come with the solution how we can do that. Okay, and if you are able to do that, then try to implement the image chat as well. मैं आपको रात को इसका zip फाइल दे दूंगा। ओके, so you can learn how we have implemented the dependency injection as well. ओके, एंड कल शाम को मैं इसका सॉल्यूशन भी प्रोवाइड कर दूंगा। ओके, कि कैसे करना है। सो नाउ you all have the source code and the understanding. So I hope within 1 or 2 days you will be able to understand much of a Android concepts. Okay, so that's pretty much it from my end for today. Today we learn more about the repository pattern, more about uh, offline first approach in Android, and in future we're gonna learn how to implement SQL database, okay, in your app to implement this caching mechanism very easily, okay. And by next 3 to 4 days we gonna make this chat app like complete this chat app with the complete implementation, okay. Then we gonna build the text scanner app, okay. So this is pretty much from my end. I'm been in this call for couple of minutes. If someone have any questions, we can discuss it out. Shiva, we don't have class tomorrow. We, as usual, we have holiday on Wednesday. We gonna connect on Thursday and Friday. Then we're gonna learn about the databases. Okay. I hope Darshini, Tulika, Shiva, and Vishesh, we have more understanding of dependency injection now and repository pattern now. Cool. अगर आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, it's because you are not giving it pretty much good amount of time, okay. अगर समझ में आ भी गया है तो I will highly recommend to go through the code that I'm gonna provide and do some alterations and changes and some implementation in order to solidify your learning, okay. So with that said, we can end the call here. We can wrap it up, and we're gonna meet on Thursday. Okay. So thank you everyone for your time. See you soon. Bye bye.